Yesterday for math, you'll remember that we regrouped decimals when adding. Today we are going to ungroup decimals, which means we are going to subtract. So we are going to start with what we know about subtraction and then apply that to our decimals. So if we had a problem like this, 4,000 minus 164, just looking at this, we know that we can subtract these numbers. And we know that because this bottom number is smaller than the top number. However, when we go to do that, we run into a problem right away. 0 minus 4. If we have 0 things, we cannot take away 4 things. So we have to ungroup. So what we do is we borrow or ungroup previous ones. So you cross out your 4 and you make it into a 3. And then when you've ungrouped this, you've created 10 hundreds, but we're still not to our spot. So we cross that out and make that into a 9, make this into a 10, and then make it into a 9, and then make this into a 10. So we now have 3, 9, 9, 10. And now that I have 10 above my 4, I can subtract. So 10 minus 4 is 6, and 9 minus 6 is 3, and 9 minus 1 is 8, and 3 minus nothing is 3. So I get 3,836, and I know this is a logical answer because it's smaller than the number I started with, and because I'm taking something away, it needs to be smaller than that. So we can do the same type of ungrouping when it comes to decimals. So if I had the problem 6 minus 1 and 56 hundredths, you probably see the problem right off the bat here. I'm trying to take away 6, but there's literally nothing above it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to put in our placeholders. So we're going to write down our decimal and we're going to put 2 zeros here because those zeros are holding the place of those positions. So it still is 6. If I said you had $6 like that or $6 like this, it still means the same thing. So what we do here is the same thing that we did before. We ungroup. If I have 0 things, I cannot take away 6 things. So I must go to the place value position that has a value that isn't 0, which in this instance is in my 1 spot, and it is a 6. So I'm going to cross out the 6 and make it into a 5 and ungroup that. So that means this goes into a 10, and then it needs to go into a 9 because I'm not to the correct place yet. And then this goes into a 10. So now that I have more than 0 above my 6, I can regroup. Or I can subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 5 minus 1 is 4. So I end up with 444. So this is the same as what we did before, only this time we have decimals. So we ungrouped when we had a number above it that was too small. And both of these examples just included zeros. We're going to do 2 more examples. So the other type of subtraction problems that we see are where our numbers up top aren't necessarily zeros, but we need to regroup because the values are not larger than the number below. So again, we would look at this and think, wow, we can definitely subtract that. 739 is less than 3,528. But when you go to do the first thing, we have a problem. 8 minus 9. If I have 8 things, I can't take away 9. We have to ungroup from the 10s. So we cross out the 2, and when we ungroup, we just lower this number by 1. So this is going to turn into a 1. Then we need to add 10 over here. So we have 18. 18 minus 9 is 9. Okay, now I can move on to the next one. 1 minus 3. Can't do that. I must ungroup again. So I cross out the 5 and I take away 1 group. So that's a 4. And I add 10 on here. So that's 11. So 11 minus 3 is 8. 4 minus 7. Must regroup. Cross out the 3, make it 1 less, so that's 2. Add 10 here. 14 minus 7 is 7. And then 2 minus something is 2. So you end up with 2,789. So that's how we ungroup when it's not just through zeros. I will apply this now to an example with a decimal. If we have 824 minus 357. So again, I know I can take 8 and 24 hundredths minus 3 and 57 hundredths. I know I can take 3 and 57 hundredths away from 8 and 24 hundredths because this number is smaller than this number. However, I already see my problem here. 4 minus 7. I can't do that, so I must ungroup. You cross out the 2, you make it into a 1, and you make your 4 into a 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. 1 minus 5. I can't do that. I need to ungroup my 8, so I make that less, 1 less, and I add my 10 up top. 11 minus 5, and 11 minus 5 is 6. And then I have 7 minus 3. So I end up with 363 and 67 hundredths. So your ungrouping can be applied in that instance as well. So I will walk you through 2 problems that you have as part of your workbook pages today. You are free to not watch this if you want to go ahead and do it on your own, but if you would like to try it out, here we go. So number 3 in your workbook, we have 6,222 and 1/100th minus 48 and 4/100ths. So this one is nice because it's already stacked for us. So we already have the first step of most problems done. So now 1 minus 4, can't do that. I have to start moving left. Well, I can't take anything from 0 because it's already nothing. So I have to go to my 2. Cross out the 2 and make it into a 1. I'm gonna have to regroup here, but I'm still not to this position, so I have to regroup again. And now I have 11 minus 4. And 11 minus 4 is 7. 9 minus 0 is 9. And then I have 1 minus 8. I can't do that, so I must regroup again. Cross out the 2, make it into a 1, make this into an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. Now I have 1 minus 4. Again, I must regroup. Cross out the 2, make it into a 1, add your 10. 11 minus 4 is 7. 1 minus nothing is 1, and 6 minus nothing is 6. So you get 6,173 and 97 hundredths. So that's number 3. And the next example I'll go over is going to be number 4. So in number 4, we have 1 and 9/100ths minus 0 and 7/10ths. So they're stacked already, so that's really nice. But I think we all see the problem. We have 9 minus nothing, which we can do, and 9 minus nothing is 9. But when we go here, we have 0 minus 7, which we can't do. So you have to cross out our 1 and regroup, and then turn this into a 10. And 10 minus 7 is 3. I still have to write down my decimal point and ensure that my 0 is holding the place value of the ones. So you would get 39 hundredths. So those are just 2 example problems from today's assignment. Good luck ungrouping in subtraction with decimals.